कुछ मेरी बात बताई हुई कुछ काम आई जो मैं बोलता था ये और
पढ़ाई तो चल रहा है, वो दिन पे देखा जाएगा कैसा होता है नहीं होता. बट VRC, I was pretty confident, so I didn't particularly prepare as such for VRC. The only time I read Eon essays, admittedly, was
वेलकम ऑन बोर्ड. पीपल आस्क मी क्वेश्चन, सर नॉन इंजीनियर का कुछ होता है कि नहीं होता है. ये सब इंजीनियर सीटें ले जाते हैं. टुडे आई गॉट आकाश सरकार विद मी, पार्ट ऑफ द कैट किंग फैमिली. 99.23 परसेंटाइल, वर्बल बिलिटी 98.51, DLR 97, क्वांट्स 97. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यार, सुपर डुपर कांग्रेट्स आकाश. हाउ डज इट फील मैन, हाउ डज इट फील?
thank you, thanks a lot, sir. I think it feels, to say the least, it feels very surreal. I mean, when I actually started my preparation journey, it was a very dark time. I mean, being a non-engineer, being pretty much horrible in math, you start getting those second thoughts in your head कि अच्छा जो करूँगा होएगा नहीं होगा, will I get the results? And then once I actually got my CAT percentile, it was just jubilation and elation. I think no other word describes my feeling better than that. It was really, really surreal, really amazing. And it just felt, अब किसी और को कैसा लगा तो मुझे पता नहीं. My mom and dad, I can't speak for them, but for me, myself, I felt very prideful. It felt really nice. It felt like I accomplished something. So accomplished something that I didn't think was possible. So that's another point. So I
Awesome.
think that's
Awesome.
about it. Yeah.
Hope my channel was helpful. When did you start following it?
So I've been watching your videos from 2022. Have been a subscriber since then. And then once I decided in 24 that I wanted to prepare for CAT, I think I had only one option or one choice in my head. So I enrolled for CAT King, the intensive course which covers all the exams. So I enrolled for that at I think about March-ish. So from March, of course, I must admittedly say that I wasn't very particular with all of the classes and all. March से क्योंकि थोड़ा सा तो होता है time pass,
Yeah, yeah.
but I think May, June onwards, it became very serious. And it was coupled with a lot of your mocks, the real CAT mocks and all of that. So I think, yeah, that is when March was when I started.
ग्रेट ग्रेट. टुडे वी गोना टॉक अबाउट इस जर्नी, कैसे पढ़ना है भाई. जो लोग सपने सोच रहे हो, मैं भी नॉन इंजीनियर 99% लाने वाला हूँ. आज पूरी जर्नी डिस्कस करेंगे. क्वांट्स, DLR. हाउ वाज एक्सपीरियंस सिटिंग इन द क्लासरूम? वो मंडे वर्बल वेंसडे वो सब बैठता
Yeah,
था.
yeah. So I think your you just became so unanimous with this entire CAT thing in India. So if you ask people, regardless of whether they know coaching classes or not, they'll remember your face. They know ki ha, there's someone on YouTube who's every day there's some new video on CAT. So they know you as someone who's connected with CAT. So I think that is one thing that I was very sure that I want to do it from someone who's been speaking about CAT relentlessly over the last 2 years or so. And it felt like, so I think you had said that, you find someone who's equally passionate about this, you make them your sort of role model, and then you go with them, you le jod jana, like you say.
अरे वाह यार.
So,
गुड
so
गुड.
you find someone and then you just choose them and then you start your preparation, right? So in Cat King, I found Prantik sir, I found Sudhanshu sir. I think they personally helped me a lot. It was so easy to reach out to them, and really, really, Prantik sir during my CAT preparation, immense help. And then Sudhanshu sir post my CAT preparation, immense help. So I think wouldn't have been possible without these people, without CAT King. So I think forever, forever grateful, forever in debt. So I think
Awesome,
that
awesome.
was
I'm super
amazing,
glad.
amazing.
So overall 99.23 आया, verbal में 98.51 आया. How a engineer or a non-engineer, what should be the secret sauce to success? कुछ मेरी बात बताई हुई कुछ काम आई जो मैं बोलता था ये ऑन पढ़ लो ये पढ़ लो, क्या क्या तूने फॉलो किया सब सब बताओ. वर्बल एबिलिटी.
So being a I think regardless of whether you're an engineer or a non-engineer, English is something that you speak to people in English since you're a child, right? So I think in a lot of circles, your friend circles, your school circles, there's a lot of involvement of English, right? In a lot of sort of conversations and common parlance. But I think English or VRC in terms of the sections of CAT, one of the most underrated and one of the most sort of random sections possible, because you might read 1,000 Neon essays, but you wouldn't ever know what sort of passage is going to come in CAT. You wouldn't ever know what sort of para-jumble, para-completion is going to come in CAT. So all you can rely on is your intuition. So throughout my journey, what I tried to do, so I was pretty confident. So being a non-engineer, stereotypically, I was pretty confident in one section, which was VRC.
Oh,
Baki, like, take one section to the moon, I was very heavily just set on VRC. Because logic and QA, I was like, भगवान भरोसे, अभी पढ़ाई तो चल रहा है, वो दिन पे देखा जाएगा कैसा होता है नहीं होता. But VRC, I was pretty confident. So I didn't particularly prepare as such for VRC. It was all just daily reading. The Hindu was one newspaper that I'd subscribed to. Really great editorials, really great sort of use of language. And Eon essays, of course, I think the only time I read Eon essays, admittedly, was before your lectures. So I was like, okay, I have to sit for verbal Mondays and verbal Wednesdays, so might as well just read one Eon essay and then sit for it. So apart from that, it was just solving previous year questions and then just building that intuition, because you study a lot, you might do a lot, but there's no objectivity in VRC, according to me. So VRC in general is very subjective, right? So you wouldn't know what can come, how you'd react to it. So all you can do is build your intuition on the spot. When you look at a question, you should know ki, okay, this is what the author is trying to say, double negatives, triple negatives. So that is how you build intuition. I don't think there's a better way to crack VRC.
that's lovely. That's lovely. So if somebody has to get a like, ये sir ये plan बता दो 99 percentile का या 98.51 VRC crack करने, because many engineers come to me, you would have seen in the class, their quant would be like 99.xx, DLR would be 90, verbal पूछोगे सर 84 है, बस यही करना है बस. तो उनके लिए क्या एक secret sauce बता दे? One, reading a editorial of Hindi every day or Hindu.
So I'd say to people who are a bit kacha pakka in English, 110% take up one newspaper ka editorial every single day. I think that is one thing, regardless of whether you practice math, you practice DILR, that is one thing that should become a routine. So whenever you wake up or whenever before you go to sleep, you have to read one editorial. I mean, that should be you can't go do away reading an editorial that day. So वो तो करना ही है. You have to read an editorial. Apart from that, building your intuition comes through practicing questions, like the compendiums that we have on the dashboard. I think really helps. A huge resource of a huge bulk of questions there. मतलब practice करते रहो, and then it automatically happens. You know, it's not one day euphoria moment where, oh, I've built intuition. It happens through months of just following one single simple rule. Every day, wake up, read an editorial. Half of the things you wouldn't understand because they use a lot of sort of tough English,
fancy words, tough English, usage of grammar,
fancy words. But धीरे, the entire point of VRC is to not know the meaning of one word, but to understand the word's meaning in the entire context of the sentence, right?
Excellent.
So you might not understand one single word ka meaning, that doesn't matter. So that is how you read editorials and build that skill. Ki, okay, what does this word mean in the entire scheme of things, in the entire context of this data?
Super.
So that is, you have to do it. You want to become a 98-99 percentile, have to do editorials.
That's lovely. How important was vocabulary while you are learning that Norman Lewis, थोड़े बहुत vocabulary words वगैरह काम आते हैं in your entire, do you feel confident after learning that थोड़ा बहुत?
So I've known people throughout the last year who've done a lot of Norman Lewis word bar made easy. They've gone through a lot of vocabulary. I think that is really helpful for people who are really underconfident when it comes to VRC. If you're not that underconfident, I wouldn't say vocabulary will help that much because you know the words that you know. Abhi, if you read 50 word का list आप पढ़ोगे, आपको जिंदगी में ऐसा हो सकता है कभी वो 50 word you never encounter again in your life.
True. You'll not even use. और वो पढ़ भी लिए तो जब वो सामने वाला बोल रहा है तो you have to refer back or Google it out.
Correct. True. Exactly. Because there are Norman Lewis में there are a lot of words which are so esoteric, which are so sort of कभी कोई so niche कोई use ही नहीं करता वो सब word.
Esoteric is also Norman Lewis word by the way.
So I'd say it's a double-edged sword. If you're a bit underconfident in VRC, 110% go ahead. You have to build some sort of vocabulary, वरना तो समझ ही नहीं आएगा.
If you're a
But if you're
well-read
a bit
person,
confident,
if you're a well-read
Sorry.
person, तुम पढ़ने लिखने वाले हो, books पढ़ा हुआ है, then you can skip the Norman Lewis part and you can jump to
Absolutely.
the Eon essays and all stuff.
Absolutely.
Good. मैं तो सबको रिकमेंड करता हूँ. मेरी तो फेवरेट किताब है. तुझे याद होगा क्लास में अपन करते थे बैठ के, राइट? तो मेरी तो फेवरेट किताब है. मुझे लगता है वो 12 दिन लगाने चाहिए उस किताब के अंदर, और 12 दिन करके फिर छोड़ दो फिर, you know. And maybe in Snap and Maths of the World you can get some help out of it. और पढ़ते पढ़ते एक वर्ड आ गया ना, it's like treasure hunt. It's like you reading ऐसे, और ये
Correct.
वाला वर्ड, assuming तुम्हें पढ़ा हुआ वर्ड है तो उस समय याद भी आ गया, and you're able to relate to the content. That is really helpful. But if you're a well-read,
Correct.
skip it up, go ahead. Superb यार, superb. And how about those rules? हम क्लास में rules करते थे. Funneled approach, then और क्या क्या था? Funneled approach, DICC approach, DICC.
correct.
etc.
So I think in terms of approaches or having a set system with which you approach any passage or any RC in your VRC section, I think it helps initially. Like for me, at least, it really helped because I consider myself to be an avid reader. I read a lot of books. I have been doing that since I was a child. So one thing that I understood was just reading books is not going to help you solve an RC. It's probably you'd be a very deluded person. Like I was deluded in the beginning. I used to think कि अरे मैं तो बचपन से किताब पढ़ रहा हूँ, मेरे लिए क्या है, मैं आरसी करूंगा, मुझे समझ ही आ जाएगा. आरसी में ही आंसर है, क्वेश्चन भी उधर से ही पूछ रहे हैं, क्या ही फायदा, क्या ही है. So I remember my first mock that I gave RCs, VARC में मुझे 10 नंबर मिला था. I was extremely shocked. I was like, what has just happened? So one thing that you need to understand is having a system, having an approach for an RC is very important because at the end of the day, it's a competitive exam, right? It's not a simple question answer exam. So double negatives, triple negatives, you need to have a system to eliminate things. And I think what these approaches teach you is how you can have a very sort of narrow and tunnel vision sort of mindset, and you can sort out things and sift the unnecessary things and then reach the answer within all of the garbage that is given.
Perfect.
Aaju baaju mein. There's so much information.
True that. And purposely they add in more information ताकि तुम्हें समझ में आए
Correct.
बैठ के. Great. So start with the
Correct.
rules, and I always tell them, like when we discuss the rules in the classroom, verbal Wednesday, वो करने के बाद
Yeah.
एक बार जब समझ आ जाए ना, फिर you'll have your own rules. You know,
Correct.
you'll have how to
Absolutely.
deal with the options. हम करते थे
Yeah.
कचरा निकालो, right? So
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
out
correct,
of
correct.
context. Then you'll have your own flavor to the whole things. Beautiful, yeah.
Correct.
Beautiful.
I'll make